Yeah, I don't want to go to jail for anything. I'm much too, weak.
And you're pretty. You are listening to the Stand Up Dads podcast.
This is hecka boring.
Yeah, it is.
Let's try again.
All right, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit. We have been recording. Hey, you're listening to Stand Up Dads. This is Rob.
And Mike.
Jeez, I think this is 85.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so you started working this week, and I started working a couple of weeks ago, and holy shit, do I owe an apology to fucking women out there? Because I work in a warehouse, and, it's like managing a warehouse and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of contractors that come in and out.
Yeah.
And Jesus Christ, are their fucking egos.
Oh, yeah.
I have never been mansplained to so fucking much.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh, this is why women hate that shit. And I know I've done it. And, I've always apologized. I'm like, fucking tell me to stop. It's like, oh, but you seem so proud of yourself when you do it. I'm like, fuck you, stop it.
You seem so proud. They're like, oh, it's cute.
But yeah, there's so much fucking, this is how big my dick is. I'm like, dude, fucking relax, man. Just
calm down.
I've had more people tell me how to do my fucking job that I don't work for. Like,
yeah.
Jesus Christ.
That's hella funny.
But yeah, so that'll get better.
I can get that way, but I'm more like nerd-splain. Like that's where I can get going, and I can see people's eyes roll in the back of their head. Like,
oh yeah, you've done
I didn't need to know the friggin' beginnings of how.
I didn't. Yeah, Kirby drew this, and this guy drew that. You've done it to me.
And you're like,
you've done it on this fucking show.
I can't help it, and I cannot be stopped. Yeah.
Now I have to cut you off before you get on one of those tangents. But
it's like that. We just watched that Holy Grail again.
Yeah.
Every time there's that one scene where his son starts, every time he's like, I just want to sing. And the music starts out. Stop it. Stop it. Don't let him get going.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you knock that off. Stop that music. Yep. They're like, oh.
Yes.
How rude, Robert.
I know.
Maybe the listeners want to hear my nerd rant.
Start your own fucking podcast.
That's not going to happen.
Okay, so Kim was telling me, because she's with him, during the homeschooling and stuff, or the distance learning.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be linked in with homeschoolers and flat earthers and creationists.
Homeschoolers aren't crazy like that. At least the people I know that have done it.
Okay.
When they do it good. But you got to be able to do it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So anyway, she was talking to her mom on the phone and was in the kitchen, and in the back she could hear Owen. She didn't know what he was doing. She just heard like bang, bang, bang.
Yeah.
Bang. Bang, bang, bang. And then quiet, and then bang, bang, bang. And she's like, what the fuck? And she's like, well, he's not hurting himself, and I don't hear anything breaking. So she didn't think anything of it.
Yeah.
And then like 10 minutes later, he comes in and is like, well, I tried everything. You just can't break it. He was playing with one of her old cell phones.
I tried everything.
So Samsung, your Galaxy 6 or 7 or whatever that was, indestructible according to my kid, and he tried really hard.
I like that she has to go note to self, have to check every time I hear a noise, because he was actively like, oh yes, I do try to destroy things when you're not looking.
But she was like, what did you use? Like, well, I bashed it on the corner here, dropped it. I threw it. I used this little toy hammer. I used this block. He's like giving her a list of all the shit that he tried. So way to go, Samsung.
That's hilarious, man.
Didn't even get a scratch on the Gorilla Glass. So
wow.
And everyone I know with an iPhone has a cracked screen.
This is true. I've even dropped my note, and it has just the tiniest little crack on the corner, not on the glass at all. Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah.
And then today I come home and the boy is chasing the cat around. And she's just, apparently while I'm at work, she hides all day while the boy's home. And then I come home and she comes out, which is a fucking sad life. And then that got me thinking about the childhood pets.
Yeah.
Which you mentioned a while ago, wanting to talk about that because we both had animals growing up. I mean, yours fucking live forever.
Well, yeah. Casey, I got him when I was 6.
And that was your dog?
Yeah, that was my dog.
That was the one that would hump your cousin?
Yeah. So when we first got him, he was smart because, not in everyday life. He was pretty goofy and fun dog. But when we went to go pick him, we went to it was like a bunch of Labradors. So all these giant black dogs, bunch of them. And like, I'm out there, my sister, my brother,
He was
they're all
not a
jumping
Labrador.
around us. And well, he was like the runt.
Okay.
Yeah, he was only like 30 pounds,
Okay.
like light
He was
brown.
little, yeah.
Little. Well, we're out with these big dogs, and then he just walks by himself, over to my mom. And she's like, this is the one. He's just like, he went to her, put his head on her lap. This is the one. And we're like, what? Like, so smart. She's like, we're going. She picked him up, and we got Casey. And what was funny was for being little, he had the bark of a giant dog. So he'd be behind the door in the backyard, and he just sounded like, and people would come to the door, you'd see him all scared, like, ooh, and he'd be, and you open the door and he'd be all, like, kissy.
Yep.
Crazy. He also had the tongue of the giant dog. He'd go running with my brother, and his tongue would just be hanging on the ground, and people would be like, ha ha ha, look at that dog,
I think it's just funnier picturing your brother running.
Oh man, he used to be a big runner. Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Oh my God, yeah. He used to run a ton.
I don't equate comic book nerds with running.
We both were runners till we hurt our backs. Both of us hurt our backs, and after a while, it's like you can't even get started again.
Old man.
I know. Anyway, yeah, some of the fun things we do at Casey, like there was, yeah, he would hump blankets. There was one blanket he loved especially, and we would torture my cousin. Like, I think we brought that up where I forgot. Yeah, where he'd hump him or let him chase him around. There's one puppet too that if you threw the puppet by him, he didn't care. But the second you put your hand in it, it was hilarious. It was like, that was his enemy. And some mean things I did when I was a kid was there was all these lemons in our backyard, and he'd chase the lemons, but then I'd like break the lemon. And then he'd still bring it back, but he'd be all like, and he'd be mad at me. You could see his face like, don't do that again. And I'd throw it, and he'd come back and go like, nah, like that was awful, And yeah, he was a good dog.
Well, I found a thing about, because we did an episode on pets and the benefits, but figured, we didn't talk about our pets so much as, but yeah, the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry, they were talking about all these things. And, we already covered all this stuff, but the one thing that stood out was, although most children are gentle and appropriate with pets, some may be overly rough or even abusive, Mike. If such behavior persists, it may be a sign of significant emotional problems.
Uh-oh.
So you might have.
Where do I get into my cats?
Yeah. Well, I mean, shit. I mean, what better way to tell? Oh man, he's gonna be one of those. It's like you got the next Dexter.
Yeah. Oh my God, man.
Okay, but then that brings up, because most of my pets that I had growing up, we ate.
Yeah.
Because
that's so cruel. Here's your pet for the next week or so, and then we're gonna fatten them up.
Yeah, we had chickens and rabbits and goats, and we'd get the chickens when they were little chicks and the rabbits when they were little. And I knew that you would play with it one day, eat it the other, and I'm sure that.
Did you ever plead for one of them? Like one of them was like, "Please let me keep this one," and then
maybe
you still
when
had to
I was
eat it.
little, but it mainly came down to when I knew it was time. I was like, "Oh, don't get this one," but I would never say anything because he'd be like,
how dramatic.
Well, and this fucked up thing is, because when you're a little kid, you have a favorite one and you feed it extra.
Yeah.
And of course, that's the fat one that he wants to kill first. So I learned that.
Oh my God.
But it was funny because my dad, we had a goat. Her name was Cookie. And my dad actually fell in love with that thing. And it came time to slaughter it. And he had to find someone to trade it because he still wanted goat. But he's like, okay, you kill this one, I'll kill yours. Because he couldn't bring himself to eat it. But I actually felt kind of better about that too. So I know I could, because we'd had to, kill the rabbits and skin them and all that fun stuff. So I know I could, but I don't want to. If I had to do that shit again, I'd probably just be a vegetarian.
Yeah, I can't imagine, man.
one of the things they bring up is you can watch your kids and you can see how you're doing as a parent based on how they act with the pet.
Yeah.
Owen will be like, Phoebe, no TV for you, and just being a dick to our cat. I'm like, so what would you do to your cats?
Oh wait, did I ever bring up the stuff that how much my dog hated my dad? How much Casey hated my dad?
I don't think so.
All right, before they were divorced or whatnot, and then they got remarried years later, which is a whole other story. And my dad, Casey hated my dad because my dad would always be like, "Get that dog out of here" and stuff, So the second my dad would leave, we'd all have to run and go, "Where's Casey?" Because he would run instantly to his side of the bed, piss on it, try to piss in his slippers, and he also chewed. My dad had one chair that was his favorite chair, like we called it a rumpus room. They changed the garage, He chewed on that and worked on it for months. So one day my dad sat in it and it snapped and he freaking ate.
I'd hate that fucking dog too.
He ate, and it was because you could tell he caused it because he was the one that would yell at him and be rotten to him and make Casey go, "I'm going to piss on all your stuff." Just his stuff.
God damn.
I forgot about that. Grab Casey, where is he?
See, I don't. Fuck.
Pissing in your slippers.
That's so bad.
Who's got the last laugh now?
So how long did he have to treat the dog like shit for that to happen?
Not long, because that was only when Casey was probably, I don't know, I'd say from when we got him, which he was probably 3 months old to maybe 2 years old, something like that.
Okay.
So it didn't take much. Nope.
Fucking
hilarious. Yeah. Yeah. He'd also fall asleep and his farts would wake him up and he'd freak out and you could tell he didn't know it was him. So it would go, "Wah," and he'd wake up and go, "Oh," and you'd see him run away and look around like, what the hell was that? And then he'd go to sleep all freaked out like there's ghosts in here. Something just barked by me. Yeah. Oh, and he'd chase his tail too. That was hilarious. He'd be so angry. He'd sit there and be like, and then he'd look and we'd be like, "Uh-oh, your enemy's back." And he'd be like, and he'd start freaking chasing it till he tired himself out.
This is why kids need pets.
Yeah.
There is nothing on an iPad or a TV show.
There's
that
no
would
TV
replace
that's
this.
as good as that.
No.
Yeah. Casey peeing on stuff, farting, humping things, all hilarious golden childhood memories.
Did he get along with your old ass cat?
No, well, he did. By that time, he was old or older when they got there. So you're talking about Mr. Bobo, who started out as just Bo.
Yeah.
So first, Max was the first cat we got. We got these pets by my sister adopting, like just picking up Max, named him after Mad Max, Mel Gibson or whatnot, and then leaving him. So then my mom was stuck with him. But Max was funny in that, he had a real bad attitude, like a cranky old man from a kitten onward,
Was he a long-haired cat?
Yeah.
I remember
he was.
Max. Okay.
Yeah, he was ill-tempered, and I would harass that cat so much. I would do stuff to him. I had a puppet that was Animal from the Muppets, and he had Velcro on his arms, and I would tie it around him and then chase him because I knew it would mess up his balance. And when he'd go to make the turn around the corner, he'd run into the wall.
Okay, so what I've learned about you is you had a lot of puppets.
This is true.
That's the second puppet story.
I know, and none of them were used as like ventriloquist stuff. They were used to like torture animals, I guess. But then Max would get me back because unfortunately, now we know better, but my mom had the claws removed back then in the front. But what he would do is he'd wait and I'd like be laying watching TV and he'd like hunt me. And my mom would just let it happen because she'd be like, "You deserved it." So she'd sit there and watch him hunt me. Then he'd run up. He'd use his little paws, which were like fingers now, and he'd hold me, bite me as hard as he could, and kick with his back legs.
See, reason number 2 to get pets. It'll teach your kid not to be an asshole.
I learned cause and effect.
Yeah.
Did it stop me though? No. I never learned it long enough, but yeah, he was funny for that stuff. And then Bo, named after Bo Jackson, my sister got him. And
Who
then,
named him? Because you were gay for Bo Jackson forever.
oh, I loved Bo Jackson.
I
He was
know.
awesome. Freaking nature. No, my sister. And then left him. So, but he became my mom's cat. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God, that cat. Like we always treated our animals like part of the family, like a son or a brother, you know. But he really was like my mom's baby, and he was hilarious. Like, he lived so long enough that he went from Bo to Bobo to Mr. Bobo because he lived to be 22 or something.
Yeah, I remember being freaked out when I saw him.
Yeah, that was awesome because you were. Let's see.
That was when
I had to watch
San Jose.
him, and he was. Yeah, I had to watch him, and you came by, and I would say he was about 22 years old at that time, but he looked the same. The thing about Bo was until his last month, he finally acted and looked old. He had like the best life of an animal or person ever. So like, yeah, you came over and he's acting like normal, like this young kitten, and you're petting him. Ooh, and you're all, when'd you get the cat? And I go, that's Bo. And you jumped like it was Pet Cemetery. Yeah, oh, the original Bo. And I'm all, it is. And you were like, no, your face was like, no, it's an abomination.
I mean, it's awesome.
It's an abomination.
It is.
It can't be. How does he look so good? I don't know. Yeah. But he would get so jealous that
we talked about that on the last one. Yeah.
Oh, where I get him like throwing that stuff. Yeah. God, he was too much. You could really harass him where he would get angry like a human. And just not even bothering about my mom, just telling him no would make him go, he'd make a noise. Like, you're going to pay, and I don't know how yet.
But it will happen.
Yeah, he was too much, man.
See, I remember my dad fucked me up with pets, aside from having to eat them. I remember he would do shit. I think I was probably maybe 9. And he brought home 3 little kittens, and they were cute. They were tiny. They were probably too young for us to have them. And, I was all thrilled. And they all stayed outside because he wanted stuff to go after gophers and shit.
Yeah.
And then after, I think it was like 3 weeks. So I had plenty of time to get attached to these little fuckers.
Yeah.
He didn't like the fact that they were wrestling and stuff and fucking up his garden. So he's like, okay, pick the one you want to keep. I'm getting rid of the other 2.
Oh my God. He Sophie choiced you on your cat.
I mean, he didn't kill him. He gave him away to other people. But I was like,
my God.
What the fuck, dude? Because he would do shit like that all the time.
Pick which one you like.
And I cried like a little bitch. But
well, yeah. How old are you at that point?
I was like 9.
Oh, that's the worst.
Yeah, but then we got Kahlua, the Siamese. That was fucking awesome. She was a badass. She would like. I remember looking in the neighbor's yard, and I would see they had 2 dogs. It was like a Dalmatian and a Cocker Spaniel, and they were both sitting like perfectly, perfect sitting stance, looking down. And there's my cat eating their food.
Wow.
But that was a badass cat. I don't know. I think my life is way better because we had the fucking animals growing up.
Yeah.
I could have done without killing a bunch of them, but
I would have liked to spare some of their poor shortened lives and not eaten their flesh.
I remember when my dad died, we had a bunch of rabbits. We had like a dozen of them.
Yeah.
And my mom's like, you're going to help me. I'm going to help you with what? She's like, I want to take care of these fucking things. We're going to get rid of all of them. So, I mean, we were going to eat them all, but, we put them in the freezer or give them to other people. And I was like, it was just like the fucking Armageddon for bunnies.
Yeah. Yeah. This is not what I want to do when I'm mourning.
I mean, I was 30, so it didn't matter.
Bunny side, though. Yeah.
But yeah, it brings you back to when I was a little kid, and just there's pictures of me when I'm like 2 years old holding the rabbits that were bigger than me by their, they were passed away, holding them by their feet or by their ears, and just gruesome shit, man.
Yeah. You need to post that. That's good.
I got to find those albums. That would be fun to post. Like, here's me looking cute.
I got that one picture of me trying to drink a beer.
Yeah, that's a fucking awesome one. That's you were in
Everyone
your
else-
dad's lap, right?
I'm like right next to him.
Yeah.
I think we're all just sitting around him, and Barb and Doug are pretending like, "Hey, we have beers, haha." And I'm
You're
like
like 3, weren't you?
I'm trying to empty it, but it's already empty. No, I think I'm smaller than that. I'm
Okay.
definitely just sitting there in a diaper.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that could be.
Well, it could have been
That could be up to
6.
9, right? Yeah. My name
No,
is
I was
Mike,
out
and I'm
at
a
diapers.
bedwetter.
I wasn't back in them until 45. And that's out of convenience.
We're 2 years away from AARP, man.
Hey, dude, stop that. That's the worst. Oli already tells everybody that I'm 50. And I'm like, I'm not 50 yet. She's like, basically like, you might as well be.
We are 50.
How rude. We're not
So-
actually yet. You still got
There.
2 years left.
Yeah. And a week for you, or 2 years and what, 3 weeks for you?
Something like that. I think it's rude to round it up.
Like a
Oli's
bitch.
like, my dad's so old. He's 50. Not 50. I was better when she used to get it wrong and think I was super young when she was little. Then she got like dead on, told everybody exactly where I was. And now she's pretty soon just going to be like, my dad's 80.
Okay, well, before Grandpa needs a nap, I want to talk about the mocha shots. Remember, we were talking about being the guinea pigs, and I haven't had a chance to drop off samples at your place, but we'll work that out. But Seattle Gummy Company, they are our sponsor, and God damn it, no one's emailing me for samples. So if you're listening to this, email me. Just tell me a limerick, anything.
Yes.
Say you want a sample, and I will send you samples.
They're amazing, man.
thestandupdads@gmail.com. So my first experiment with it, I went with I think it was the Dutch chocolate mocha shots. I had 2 on Saturday morning because I had like no sleep, and it was 109 out that day, and I had to go to the in-laws. I was like, fuck, I don't have it in me right now. And I was like, fuck it. I got these. I'm going to pop 2 because I actually got a box myself. So I'm not taking from the samples. And holy shit, it worked. I mean, I wasn't feeling like, wee, but I was able to get through it. So it was a nice thing. And then the next day I tried one of the CBD ones. That one was a sample. So I had a couple of those. I wasn't going to tell anybody, but I was going to do the experiment. And you talked about like, hey, was I nicer today?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But then my wife decided, I'm going to go out, and she took the kid. So I can't tell you if the joy and euphoria came from the CBD or if it was just from having the house to myself.
Yeah, and it's true. You can't tell with that type of stuff unless it all has to be with what other people say, you know?
Yeah. It's like, oh, everyone's gone. This is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But anyway, based on those 2 things, I've always said stand-up dads tested and approved, and I really think this is a great fucking product. So email us, thestandupdads@gmail.com. I will send you a sample. Give me a dad story if you got one, and we can read it on air. If it's really great and you want to, we can have you come on and tell us your dad's story. And there is a link in the show notes. Click that, add the code StandUpDads15, get 15% off your order. It's good shit. What's their motto? Hang on, I got to edit here. So on their boxes, at least some of the boxes, it's got get blank done. So get shit done. Get some Seattle gummies. So our bad dad this week is a bad mom.
Wow.
And I don't have a link for this because it happened across the street.
Are you going to get in trouble because you're out?
It's not my neighbor. It's not my neighbor.
Okay.
Kim sent me a text on Friday at like 1:00, and she says, so this happened today.
Oh,
and it's a
no.
picture. My neighbor across the street has an RV parked on the side of the house.
Yeah.
And it's a weird layout, but it's nowhere near the street.
Yeah.
And she sent me a picture of a car that has its hood completely crumpled because it ran into the back of the RV.
Oh my God.
And the RV was like pushed aside and all this. And apparently the lady didn't hit her brakes. Then we come to find out that it was a mom that went to pick up her kid at the hospital and was driving back and lost control of the car. And turns out she was arrested for a DUI.
Oh no. Because I was going to say, how do you end up? Because an RV was on the side of the house, right?
Yeah, it wasn't on the street.
So that means they had to fully turn.
She threaded a needle to do it because there was bushes on one side, bushes on the other. She fucked up a sprinkler and just tagged it and didn't even hit the brakes because there's no skid marks anywhere.
Oh my God! And the kid's in the car.
Well, the kid was older. I think he was like in his 20s. But what kind of mom gets hammered at 1 PM to drive your kid back from the hospital? And then they both had to go back to the hospital because, the airbags fucked them up.
Dang it.
So I was hoping to find a story, but, the damage wasn't enough and no one got seriously injured. So it didn't make the news in Folsom.
And they're like, God damn it, Mom.
I just
left here.
I mean, what the fuck?
I know. Dang.
I cannot imagine how many times I've been trashed around the kid. I've never been trashed around the kid, but how many times I've been trashed since the kid. I've wanted to, but it just never comes around. That gives me an idea for a gummy.
You'll get the time. Oh, see how many gummies you can have?
No. Just because they do the post-workout or pre-workout or something. I wonder if that would work. Anyway, but yeah, so our bad mom, I don't know what your name is, but your driving sucks. And but you were the talk of the town.
You brought some life to the COVID neighborhood. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the whole neighbor. Yeah, because all the neighbors were out. And
just, like, wow, interesting.
And then I guess they found a flask in her car.
Wow.
Who drives around with a flask?
I'd say that's a problem, yeah.
I take it back because when I was 23, I was dating an older woman.
Well, I thought you were going to say I have.
No, and she lived in San Francisco and I lived in Castro Valley across the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
And she would come over. I didn't realize at the time she was an alcoholic, but I found out pretty quickly. Remember the tube sport bottles like in the 90s that were just like,
yep.
An up and down tube is about 12 inches tall and round with a straw built in.
Yeah.
She had one of those between her knees and it was just a rum and Coke across the bridge, like a huge one. So I was like, you drove like that? She's like, yeah. It's like, okay.
You're like,
I don't believe she's a mom. Anyway.
She was? Oh, sure.
No, she wasn't.
How old was she?
I was 23. She was 33.
Oh.
Anyway, that was weird.
And back then, you're like, so old.
Anyway, we'll have to do a dating my dad episode with I don't know. That would be weird.
Oh yeah, the pre-children, pre-marriage dating stories.
Piss off the wife.
Yeah. Oh my God.
She gets mad when I bring up any of that shit. Man, what? You're not the only one. So I'm not the only one. So get over it.
Yeah,
I am. What if I told you? I'm like, I don't care. Let's see.
Have her on. We're gonna have one. That's funny.
I don't know, but yeah, I'll have all my exes on. That would be great.
Oh my God. Dang it.
Jesus. Anyway, email us, thestandupdads@gmail.com. Subscribe to our show. We've got a website, stand-up-dads.com. There's a blog that I'm neglecting, but you can see pictures of us. Subscribe. It helps us out somehow. Seattle Gummy Company. Again, I love this stuff. Mike loves this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Email us those dad stories and we'll send you out some samples. Why wait for samples? Just get it. Go to the link in our show notes, hit StandUpDads15 and put the code StandUpDads15 in there and get 15% off your order. And I should be more energetic talking about a caffeinated gummy.
I know.
And if
you need one now.
Yeah, no, because I need to sleep. If you wanted to get someone to draw a picture of a drunk mom driving her kid away from the hospital, who would you write to?
You would write to me. I'll draw that. You go to pencilforhire.com. That's pencil FOR hire, or pencil for hire on Instagram.
And you've got a comic book.
Yes, Clumsy Love. The collection I have has like the first couple of years in it. I think there's about 600 cartoons or something. I don't know in that one.
There's a link in the show notes. Get it. You got nothing better to do. It's a pandemic. Read that shit. And I actually looked forward to those when he was putting them out live. I'm not saying that just because it's Mike. I would tell him if it was shit.
You would. I'd enjoy saying it.
I have.
Yeah. Sorry, man. That ain't funny.
And then while you're getting that, you may as well click another link and get Eye of Mongombo, the graphic novel by Doug Gray. It's hilarious. It's reasonably priced, and you got nothing better to do. It's a pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And get my side project, The Gag on This Podcast, that's run by Big Nick. We just recorded with Charlie Spink yesterday. That was a great one. That'll be coming out on Monday. Give it a listen. Go to the SPCA, get a pet for your kid, make them happy. We'll talk to you guys next week. You don't want to say bye anymore?
Oh, dang it. Goodbye.
I think I'm leaving that in.
The thing I want to say is thank you all for coming. Bye-bye.